Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I have another video and get comfortable, grab yourself a drink, whatever you want, cup of tea, cup of coffee, because this is a long one. My god, did it take me ages to build this house or what? I don't know what I was thinking. I saw a picture online of this stunning Gothic Revival house and I was like, I think I'm going to give a go at building that. And I started this, I kid you not, like a week ago. And I know I have been busy. I've had essays and I had a work renewal on Monday, which was yesterday. And I'm forgetting the days already. I know I've been busy, but at the same time, it took me so long to build. And I just kept on putting it off as well. It was the fact that I know I wanted to bring this video out purely because I really like the way it turned out. But at the same time, I was like, oh, but now I have to furnish this thing. And I don't mind the furnishing in some parts, but as you'll see when we get to it, that there is like effectively like 3 rooms which are nothing rooms. Like one's a foyer, one's where the stairs are, and then another one's I'm like, what do I do with this? So I kind of furnished it accidentally off camera, but at the same time I cut out, I think there's 5 bathrooms in this, and I cut out all but 2, I think, or no, I cut out all but 1, mainly because they all kind of look exactly the same when I'm furnishing it. And also, you don't need to watch me furnish 5 bathrooms, and this video is already half an hour long. So it took me a while to kind of get the gist of how I wanted the exterior to look. So it kind of, I deal with the majority of the exterior first, and then mainly because I recorded that like 2 weeks ago, and then finally got round to doing the interior of the house and trying to work the interior around all the windows that I decided to put in, because I was building this house on the fact that the exterior looked nice, not on the fact that of where I was going to put the rooms and how oddly shaped the rooms would be. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. It looks stunning from the outside. I'm very proud of this bit on the outside, but at the same time the inside is so-so. I like the kitchen and stuff, but there was some like weird odd shaped rooms because I kind of went a little bit overboard on the fact that I was like adding little bump outs here and there, extra roofs, all that jazz, and it looks it looks aesthetically really pleasing on the outside. But then as soon as you go on the inside, I was having to like cut off. There's like bits where there's like no room because there's like, otherwise there would just been like weird angles. And I hate it like when 2 walls come together at a diagonal and you get that really awkward like tight corner. I think that looks really, I just don't like the look of it. So like cut that off with a spare wall. There may be like a bit of like blank dark wall on the inside of somebody's room, but what can you do, eh? So I don't know how, I think mostly the outside of the house this is how it looks. When I was using the reference for the house, it gave me the exterior. And as always, when you build a house, you see a house on Google or what, you're like, oh, that looks so good. And then you kind of translate it into Sims. And then it ends up still looking a little bit boxy because we still don't have like all the exact mechanics of building how we would be able to in real life in The Sims. So like you build a box and in real life you can jazz it up with all sorts of different things, whereas in The Sims it's a box. So I was adding all extra little bits here and there to try and make it look a little bit more out there. And then I went a little bit overboard with all the columns because I really think that kind of fitted in well with the like the Gothic Revival stuff of it, because the the sliding which they used on the build that I was copying looks better. It's like a different shade and is a lot more graphic, whereas we didn't have that really in this one. So I thought the columns kind of made up for that. And one thing that kind of annoys me is those circular windows, or those almost church-like windows that we got with Strangerville, is that with the other ones, they are red with white with red on the inside, but those kind of pointed ones, they're full block red, and I don't particularly like the look of it when it's just full red. I would rather it still have like the little, I don't know what they're, I can't think of the word, I don't even know what the word is, like the little cross bits on the inside of the window, you know what I mean. But I'd rather that be white and then the outside be red, or vice versa, the other way around. It just, I find it just doesn't look as good when you've got windows which have white and red, and these are full red. So I ended up changing those to the just the white windows in the end. And do let me know if you think this video is, the speed is a bit too fast, purely because I was trying to fit everything in, that it was very hard to, I didn't know what to cut out. I cut out 4 of the 5 bathrooms at which I was furnishing. Like, I couldn't cut out a room. I didn't want to cut out much of the landscaping because I thought that really brought the house together. And there was a lot of rooms to furnish. So I really didn't know what to cut out. So I think now that I'm watching it back, it seems to be, you can make out what's going on. It doesn't look, sure at the moment it probably is a little bit crazy, purely because I'm actually building the house, so it might be a little bit crazy at this point. But I still think you can make out what's going on. Maybe it probably is a little bit too fast, but at the same time, I didn't want to split it into 2 parts because that kind of gets annoying, because then you lose track of here and there. But most of the house is done now, really. Well, it's obviously not done, it's going to take me flipping ages to furnish. But the roofing is done. What I forgot to do was, I learned this tip from Little Simsy, is if you want the house to look better, try and have all the same roofs at the same pitch. And so I did. I had them all at the same pitch. And then I realised I need to stretch the top one out to fit the full roof, and then forgot that you couldn't, and then it didn't match, and then I had to delete the other roofings and then size them down. And then I put those like little, I don't even know what they're called. I know the YouTuber Cape Emerald uses them a lot, but it's like those little roof accents where I can't think of the word, what they're called now, but you'll see them in the build, in like the little corners of the roof. Those, I'm like taking 2 minutes to explain what a roof decoration is. My lord, sorry, it's getting late. It's been a long week and it's only Tuesday, but yeah. The reason why it's kind of taken me a long time to get this essay done is the fact that I did have an essay due last week, and that took a lot longer than I expected for me to write. I'm doing my master's in history, and they just want everything done at a better level. And sometimes you're like, well, you haven't really told me what level you want it to be. And yet you say, oh, it's got to be better than that. And I'm like, but how? Please just tell me. So yeah, I spent quite a while trying to like really perfect that essay. And I hope I've done well in it. It's a really difficult type of essay, and I don't want to bore anybody watching this video with the essays that you have to write at master's level in history. But I'll give you a little brief overview if you're interested. That's why I said get your cup of tea. It's going to be a long video. But basically it's called a historiographical essay, which is where you write about how historians have written about history. Yeah, that kind of is all you need to know. And how boring does that sound? It's not boring on the fact that it is really interesting to know how historians have dealt with certain things, but at the same time, it is rather complicated to write about. So yeah, I've done all the exterior now. So now, as you can see, we're moving on to the interior of the build. And what I wanted to do was have that a nice open balcony at the top of the house. And I had to cut out, I include quite a lot of my floor planning here, but as you can see, all the little bump outs that I've added kind of make it really oddly shaped, to try and think of like, how am I going to divide this into rooms, especially having that nice big open patio. And now we've moved on. Oh no, we're just adding some stones in. Oh, I think I was trying to make it match more with the outside, but we're still staying on the inside here. I sometimes struggle when doing builds on how to do, I don't know, suburbia houses. I very much have, for quite a while, always done kind of modern style builds. So trying to think of like what would be a traditional sort of like wallpaper, I'm like, I haven't got a clue. So I kind of liked that colour, that little bit of a pinky colour, but I liked the colour in the end, and I really do like the way the kitchen came out. I chose to have the stove in the middle of the kitchen. Don't know why, thought it looked cool. And then had the island around the kitchen, around the stove. And then I gave it a little nook. Thought that was really cute. I love that table and chairs that came with cats and dogs. I use a lot of cats and dogs in this one, and I don't know how much I limited my packs in this. I think I did, but at the same time, don't vouch me on that. I know I've used a couple of extra stuff packs here and there, just purely because I'm like, oh, I like that item and it would work so well. But I kind of did try to stick a little bit more with base game, but who knows with me? I start off with one build and I end up with 20. It's not a good way. I can't control myself. I'm sorry. But yeah, I really like the way this kitchen came out, and I had a fireplace there, and then I ended up changing that to, what's it? I ended up changing that to, I think it came with Jungle Adventure, that big sort of dish rack sort of, I don't even know what you'd describe it, a huge cabinet, we'll call it a big cabinet. And I'm going to be putting a clock in, and in my screenshots, it's going to be the white clock. And when I upload this, I'm going to change the colour of the clock, because I took the screenshots and I'm like, I don't mind the white clock. And now that I've thought about it again, I still don't like the white clock. Purely because there was more browny sorts of wood, and then there's a white clock. It just felt a little bit out of place, so I want to change the colour of the clock. See, look, I even put a brown bookcase there, and for some reason I thought a white clock would work. Don't know what was going through my head there. And even when I was taking the screenshots like 5 minutes ago, I was, the white clock will be fine. And now I'm like, no, the white clock isn't going to work. But these are kind of the 3 rooms, as you can see here, where I really struggled on like, what do I put here? Because this is, the one on the right is a foyer. It's like where you're coming in, take your shoes off, that sort of stuff. So I was like, okay, then that's the sort of stuff I can put in there. But then what do I put in this room? And sorry, it's probably a little bit jolty round at the moment, purely because there's just so much to get in on this house, and it's probably a little bit too fast, but I'll try and keep it, I'll probably slow it down in the next video, but it was just because I wanted to try and fit it all in. So yeah, this is the foyer of the house. It's like, oh no, now we've moved on. Oh, sorry, I sometimes forget what I'm doing and what I record when I'm recording, because I will think of an item, that will be good for over there, and then I will go over there, and then that obviously doesn't work very well when you've really sped it up. So sorry about that. I will keep it slower probably in the next video, but as I said, I wanted to keep this all in one build. Otherwise this could have been like a 50-minute video, and I can talk for half an hour, but I don't think I could talk for coming up for an hour. Oh my god, I think I'd have no voice by the end of it, and you'd be bored of me. Not probably surprised of that already, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised after 50 minutes that people would be bored of me. And I don't think anybody's going to watch a 50-minute video of me building a house. So there you go. When I was building this house, I always struggled on furnishing. I don't struggle with furnishing. The living room's fine, I can do all of that sort of stuff. But when it gets to the bedrooms, I always add clutter, because I like to add personality to the builds, just because then it makes it feel like it's made for somebody, not just a generic build. And I was really struggling on who I could have thought could have lived in this house. And you can kind of see me when I build the study. That's when I know who I've decided that is going to live in this house. And I've called them the Miller family. And John Miller, maybe I think is the guy's name, and Natasha Miller is the wife and the mother. But the backstory that I've given them is because obviously it's set in Strangerville. My idea was that John, is a retired military, like Air Force captain. So all around the place there's like pictures of planes, there's all like his signs which he's like collected from working in the military. I make his office really military based. I put down the medal case and then put the medals in. So if you do download this house, I believe the medals will be in the case, so remove them if you want. But it was for him, he's the sort of person who would be having the medals. And then it's his wife, Natasha, and she is a cat lady. Don't know why. I just kept on putting so many cat statues around the house because I thought it looked cute. And then I had to make one of the people in this house a cat person. The daughter is also a cat person, but mainly the mother. She is a cat person. She's also got her own bathroom, which I've realised I forgot to take screenshots of. So I do apologise, and I think I cut it out when I was recording. So there you go. You don't need no bathroom there, but no, she has her own bathroom. I put a bath in there, a vanity. That's where like the other stuff pack came in. And no, I think I did record it actually, except I do change the furnishing in there. That's what I do. I do record it, but I change the furnishing. It's all right. No, it's not completely gone. So Natasha is a stay-at-home wife, I haven't really thought much beyond her being a cat lady. She could be something else, but it was the point. I had the idea that they had both kind of retired, and with their big pension, whatever, he managed to get through the military, and I hadn't really thought of a career for her. If she's a cat lady, why don't we make her a vet? Yeah, we'll make her a world-class vet. That's what we'll do. She's not a stay-at-home wife. She is a world-class vet. And him and her are both retired now. And with their big pension, they chose to move to, well, they lived in Strangerville, but they moved to the Plateau, the big one up at the top. I've never actually had any households in that part so far. But with their big pension, that's where they chose to build this house. And prior to their retirement, they had twins, and I had the idea that the twins are not really the rejects of the family, but they're not the favourite child. So they're loved, but they're nothing in comparison to their perfect little boy, who is called James. And I've built a toddler room in this house, and basically the father is going to be basically channeling himself through James. James is going to be a spoilt little brat. I think I'm going to make this house, or this family, just purely because I want to visualize them. I can imagine this macho man called John, who has gone into business now. The fact that he's retired, this is me building his office. And then then it's his wife who kind of designed most of this house. And except for his office, he had his own say in the fact that he wanted all his planes in his office and all of that sort of stuff. But with the two kids, the two teenage twins, they haven't really done what the parents wanted them to do. Maybe Natasha wanted her daughter to go into veterinary, but I made her that she wants to be an artist. So the mother is like, oh, but you should be a vet like me. And the dad wants the brother, I haven't given the two twins names, to go into the military, but he wants to be an actor. And the dad's like, oh, but you should be a military man like me, be all tough and stuff like that. And he's like, well, I want to be an actor sort of thing. So they're not like rejects, but it's the fact that they've got this perfect little boy on now called James, who they plan to manipulate or whatever. Like, you know, you get like those stage mums where they're like, you must do this because this is good for you. So they're going to be pushing their son to go into the military career. He's like the angelic child who can do no wrong, except I'm going to give him the spoiled trait. He's going to be a spoiled little brat. He has a very powder blue room, but it's like that. I think it came with base game, but it's got that like embroidered, when you catch it in the light, here we are. It looks really posh, in my opinion. Just looks posh. And I made it blue because at first I thought it kind of clashed with the windows, but at the same time, nobody's going to color code their rooms to their red windows. So yeah. So this is James's room, and I kind of gave most of the expensive stuff when it comes to the toys, I think. Maybe I didn't give him the castle, but oh well. But I chose to put loads of military style things around the room. So I added in the plane. I gave him all like plane toys, one on his bedside table, got cars, got quite stereotypically like what people believe boys should play with and stuff like that. But that's because the parents think he should go into the military. And I kind of now I'm kind of moving on to the parents' room. So I've kind of explained the family enough here. I had the idea that the mother, Natasha, she had the final say on the furniture in the bedrooms and stuff like that. Maybe the kids gave him a colour scheme, but the mother's like, no, this is the furniture that you will have in your house. I love that mirror that came with Jungle Adventure, so I kind of went overboard and put it in every single room. But like I said, the kids aren't loved, but at the same time, they're not the perfect children. So I chose to give it a purpley colour scheme in the parents' room. And I really don't I think the parents' room is still kind of small. But I didn't want it to be a kid's room or a bathroom, because I wanted the dad's office to be off his bedroom. It would be weird in my head for the dad have to walk through one of his kids' bedroom to get to his own office. So that was why I chose, and I wanted it to be in the octagonal room because I just thought it looked so class. And he's like, this is going to be my room for my office, and there's nothing you can do about it. So that's what I chose to do. And so I do like the way that the parents' room came out. I believe it's fully functional. I had a sim quickly run around to see if she could go to bed, and she could. So I guess that means it's fully functional. And the drawer isn't going to be fully functional, but you've got another one on the other side of the room. So there's no need to complain on that. So because I add in some extra clutter here and there, but excuse me, I just need to grab a drink. This is 20 minutes in and I'm losing my voice already. But yeah, so I kind of kept up with the military theme into the parents' room. I'm sure Natasha is very proud of all her husband's work in the military and all him flying planes, because at the end of the day, he's not dead. So now this is the final room, I believe. This is the boys' room. I kind of went with an orangey theme, and one thing that really annoyed me was that little corner right there, that little right-hand corner. I didn't know what to do with it, and I had the idea maybe the dad wanted the son to grow up quicker than he wanted to, so I chose to put in a little stuffed dinosaur in the corner, just because maybe the dad can't see it because it's round the corner, and he wanted him to become a bit more of a man earlier, but he wanted to hold on to his childhood for a little bit longer. So he's hid his favourite dinosaur plushie round the corner, which the mum obviously will know if she does the cleaning and stuff, but the dad is more likely to stick in his office and be doing all his business work and not bothering with his son because he didn't go into the military like he wanted him to. And so I can imagine there being some tension there. And maybe the son has not a hatred for the military, but that would encourage him to kind of look into the Strangerville mystery of the fact that he's always had a distrust for the military because of his father's background in it, and he wants to kind of find out why the military is hiding these secrets. And so this here is the mother's personal bathroom, and I do end up changing the furniture, which I'm afraid you won't be able to see unless you download this build. Little plug there, which when this video goes up, this video will be online. This build will be on the gallery. Little plug there. So with the mother's bathroom, I changed the furniture. I made it look a little bit less modern. I changed it from black and made it a bit more of like a dark wood, because I thought the black was a little bit too much. I changed it to a bit more old-fashioned rather than the hyper-modern that came with. I used the Get Famous wardrobe, and I think the other one came with the vanity set, that divider, but I used a much more old-fashioned divider. I thought it just fitted better with the style of the house. Like, she's not going to have some like ultra modern bathroom and then have a traditional settee or a traditional stove. It just didn't feel right. And now we're kind of moving on to the last bits of the house. About time. Like, I recorded this bit today, so I kind of know what's going on here. At least I didn't do all the rest like 2 weeks ago. But I do end up changing this, which you will see that bit in the screenshot. But I didn't really like those lights. I felt they still looked a little bit too modern, so I ended up putting a fence around the little decking area. I didn't bother raising it because I felt it would have looked odd, because then you would have come down a step and gone straight up another step. So I just kept it on the ground, but added that like red fence around the edging, and then put some of like the older lights, and I used the 9 key to raise them up, because I just thought it looked nicer than having the modern, like, I don't know what sort of lights they are, but yeah, those lights. And now we're kind of moving on to the final bits, which is the landscaping. I left the landscaping quite late in this build because I had the thought I wanted to kind of introduce some landscaping, that's what I'm doing, some terrain manipulation into the build. I wanted to kind of raise it up a lot higher than this, but because I built the whole thing, there was no way, I couldn't work out a way for me to put it on top, because I built the whole house, unless I wanted to delete half of it and then put the half on top, and it was just not going to work out. So I do end up adding a little bit of terrain in, and to just make it look a little bit make it look a little bit more uneven, a little bit more fitting into the landscape, in my opinion, because nothing is going to be on a perfectly flat lot. And then it kind of works well with the fact that the steps go higher, but then the rest of the house is kind of up on a bit of a slope. And I kind of like the way it looks. And maybe I went a little bit overboard with my landscaping. Maybe it doesn't really fit with the aesthetic of Strangerville. But at the same time, Natasha is house proud. She wanted to have a beautifully manicured garden out the front of the house, which all her neighbours could look, oh, Natasha, look how much you look after your garden. And she's like, yeah, I know, thank you for reminding me. So that was what I was thinking. And sometimes it gets annoying though, when you raise up and down the terrain, the plants sometimes jut out, because obviously if it's a bit of a steeper drop, then it doesn't really work. So you saw me experimenting a bit there, but it looked okay in the end, so I left it at that. And I think that's mostly it with these sorts of landscaping. I do kind of follow the same suit around the house, just to kind of fit it in, really, and to make it a little bit more cohesive with the landscaping. Use kind of like the same items and stuff, and I've seen Little Simsy do that sort of cornering it off with those plants, and I thought it looked really nice. I as much as I know I went over the top with the landscaping, I still really like it. I still like the landscaping. I think it really changed the house, in my opinion. And sometimes it's hard though when you've done all this landscape, you've done all this terrain manipulation, you've like lifted the house up on the foundation, and then you try and put some plants in, and then you realize you can't because it makes it go up higher. And I'm like, oh, damn it. And so you try and lower it down, and it just doesn't really work. And I think now we're probably getting to the end, and we're going to be coming up for the screenshots. So hopefully you all haven't minded my rambling. I hope you like this build. I really like the way it turned out. So if you did like it, please give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. I really do really like it. Really, what am I saying at the moment? But yeah, now we're on to screenshots. It really does mean the world to me, whatever you comment, subscribe, like. I've hit 10 subscribers, so yay. It's a good start. I'm still happy. This is still like my 8th video, so I'm still very happy for whatever you can give me. So please do like, subscribe, comment, subscribe, and I will speak to you soon in the next video. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.